On Wednesday, speaking of things that are happening on Wednesday, this is happening on Wednesday. There is a strike. McDonald's workers will strike for $15 an hour in 15 cities. Here's the list of those cities, by the way. Let me hold on. Let me scroll over to this. McDonald's cashiers and cooks in 15 U.S. cities will strike on May 19th, excuse me. May 9th is in the past, but May 19th, that's coming up. And here is some of the cities. Los Angeles, I've heard of it. Oakland, Sacramento, Miami, Tampa, Orlando, Chicago, Detroit, Flint, Kansas City, St. Louis, Houston, Milwaukee, and several others. McDonald's workers have been organizing for $15 an hour minimum wage legislation since 2012 when they first launched the Fight for 15 movement. So there are strikes coming up. And I hope they get everything, even though $15 an hour is not even enough anymore. It's basically symbolic at this point. It needs to be even higher. But I still, I hope this strike is very, very successful, and a strike is coming up. And you guys know me. I stand for two things: love and a general strike. Joe, do you stand for those two things?
Yeah, I stand for both of them.
It'd be funny if you said general strike, but not love. You're like, my generation, we've not been sold on love yet, really. We don't even think it's real.
Yeah, we're still exploring it. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like over the years I've gotten less optimistic about a general strike. I always admire you for your optimism in that regard.
Thanks, Joe. Well, it's not going to be easy. And I openly admit, I don't even know all the nooks and crannies that are involved. Like every T to cross and every I to dot. I mean, I can't even list them all. I don't know anyone who can. But I just think, there's no other. What other option is there? Like, what's the alternative?
I don't know, Ron. But it's like, to see a general strike happen, you have to see organization on the ground, and like slowly building up in a manner where it's like, yeah, this is going to be like a national thing, or even a statewide thing would be significant at this point. And it's like, I'm not really seeing it. And then I want to hear your opinion on this, but don't you think there's like a little bit of a limited time period, like a window of opportunity for this thing? Like, because I would argue that when automation really starts kicking in, when Amazon starts really replacing their workers in their areas with automated machinery, and McDonald's goes down a similar path. I think fast food will definitely go down a similar path. When that stuff starts happening, I think there's gonna be more fear. I think there's gonna be well, maybe not Jeff Bezos because he's going out, but the next Amazon CEO is like, all right, I'm gonna make an example out of all of you who want to unionize or go on strike, and I'm just going to close down this factory, and we're going to close down as long as I can, and I'm just going to, move another factory over here. I'm going to open it up, and it's going to be run with minimal staff and, completely automated machines, and those workers are just going to see a very horrendous period, and then it's going to be a traumatic experience that's going to last, and then, we're going to have to recover from that, and eventually, I'm not like Andrew Yang, who's like, it's all gonna be replaced by robots, and we need a UBI to completely replace that. Now, I think we need a UBI to be fair, but I don't think it's gonna be that dramatic. I think there will still be jobs that only people can still do, even after we go through this period of automation. Even then, though, it's like for that period where we go through this period of uncertainty, and until we reach this period where it's like, okay, we've finally settled down, we're back to some level of certainty where we can start talking about a general strike again, where it'll be feasible again. I think it's gonna take us some time to get there once things really start getting started, which is why when I look at where we are now, I'm like, look, these people are saying, hey, we need workers, we really need employees. There's those signs in that they've kind of become a meme at this point, where it's like, hey, we're looking for workers, we're desperately looking for workers. McDonald's is trying to incentivize workers to come apply by saying that they'll give them $50 or something like that,
right? And you know why they're doing that? Because they want to offer you a shit job that doesn't pay a living wage. But then what they're going to be able to do is they're going to be able to be like, oh, we offered you a job, you didn't take it, so now you don't get your unemployment benefits anymore. And that's why Joe Biden had that big speech where it's like, well, if you're offered a job, you got to work. That's how it works. He proved very, very loud and clear. He proved whose side he's on. He is on the side of, I mean, in case anyone didn't realize that yet, but he is on the side of the CEOs and the ruling class, not on the side of workers. Look, I totally understand the puzzle piece of automation. I mean,
Yeah.
that's definitely real. That there's no, and again, and I agree with you. I'm not at Andrew Yang's level either, where I think, oh yeah, it's just going to replace everything. That's not the case. I mean, people are going to have to oversee the automation, and there's also going to be logistics. I don't think we're going to have automated trucks anytime soon. I think there's still a lot of jobs to be had, a lot of factors to be ironed out here. And they're certainly going to use that as a fear mechanism. So I definitely agree with you, but I still think that as far as shutting it down, there's still so much that is dependent on human labor that that's going to hit the Jeff Bezos and the Walmarts of the world in their pocketbook. I mean, it really is. And so I think, like, yes, there is a finite timeline for a general strike. I mean, if you just wait around indefinitely, then yeah, the opportunity is going to be missed. As far as like what kind of window we have, I would say the best case scenario is within the next year or two. Especially when you have Democrats in control of the White House and the Senate and the House. They claim to be the party of working people. We all know that that's a myth. There really isn't a party with power that represents working people. But still, I mean, the time is now. And I think, I just don't think there's any other option other than just shutting it down and having a general strike and making demands. I mean, that's the only way. That's really the only way we've ever seen, at least in the contemporary United States. That's the only way we've ever seen real change. And here's the other thing about, like, if we pull off some kind of general strike, even if it's just like a more micro one, like you hinted at the state level or something like that. If we do it and it's successful, well, guess what? We just cracked the Da Vinci Code on how to strike in the United States.
Right.
And that means we're going to be able to do it more often. Because you know what happened in France and Germany and Italy? When they don't like the situation, they go on strike. And if circumstances change and they don't like the situation again, they go on strike again. They're able to do that for a number of reasons. One of the big ones, their healthcare is not tied to a job. But if we can figure out a way to pull off strikes in the United States and do it regularly, that's a game changer. Because then we'll be able to do the same things they do over there.
Right. Yeah. Still not as optimistic as you. Yeah, I just wish, because you've been talking about this, and I've been always like, yeah, Ron's right. We need a general strike. It's just, are we getting there, or is it just, are we just seeing strikes come up, which is fine. Like, I'm not against strikes, to be clear, but it's like we have to connect these things together, and I'm not seeing the connections coming up. So,
well, you know what, and I'm not trying to be overly optimistic, because again, I mean, I do not try to sugarcoat at all that I'm calling for an incredibly tall glass of water. I make no qualms about that. This is not like I'm not asking for everyone to just kind of meet up on a Sunday. Like this is a very tall ask and a tall or a tall wish rather.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying other people go do it. I'm saying I want to help. Like, how can I help? I want to help any way that I can. But you have seen massive amounts of civil unrest in various capacities via Black Lives Matter and even this weekend, another uplifting thing. I mean, we talked about what happened over in Livorno.
Yeah.
There were over 20,000 people out in the streets in Los Angeles. In Boston, they shut down the I believe it was the Israeli embassy protesting for Palestinian rights. People are really awake right now, and people are really fed up, and I think a lot of people are really coming to terms with the just rugged capitalism of the United States of America, and they've realized how fragile the system really is, and just how corrupt beyond repair it really is. And this was nothing we didn't already know, but it's really staring us in the face during these pandemic times, because you're coming to grips with, okay, our government is nothing more than a corporate coup. It is a
Right.
complete, I mean, that's all it is. Like it's not, I mean, you're sugarcoating it if you try to make it out
Yeah.
like it's anything more than that. And even people who go in there with noble intentions, which I'd like to think happens sometimes, they get gobbled up. They
Yeah.
get gobbled up. So, I think to come to terms with the fact that the solution needs to lie outside of electoralism, and the solution needs to lie in status quo shifting action, which is what a general strike is. I don't have a better answer, man. Like, you know what I mean? If there's a better answer out there, I'm all ears. But, the alternative is just a further decline, which, I mean, how much harder can we fall?
I don't
And don't
know,
answer
man.
that, because the answer is a lot, unfortunately. But
Yeah, it's yeah.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your